I quit alcohol for 1,000 days straight, and you will not believe what happened to me. Every single aspect of my life changed, and that's not for clickbait. But before we get into that, let me first explain why I stopped drinking. It's 2019, I'm a struggling actor living in East London, paying an absolute fortune for a shoebox, and I was miserable. I was working a job that I absolutely hated. Every week suddenly became the same routine. On Friday night, I would go out to the pub with my mates, and one drink would lead to another, flash to the end of the night, and I was often walking out of the club absolutely smashed, having spent all of my hard-earned money. But it didn't stop there. I'd wake up in the morning with severe anxiety, a pounding headache, and this desperate desire for wanting something to change. Thankfully though, several months later, I ended up booking an acting job in Japan. I didn't have any responsibilities tying me to the UK, so I thought, why not? I got there and I loved the show I was in, I loved the people I was working with, so that really put things into perspective for me. I felt like I was on some sort of right path. And very early on when I arrived to Japan, I met a girl called Maddie. Within those first few weeks of sort of realising that I'm in love with this girl, I knew that I couldn't go on, I couldn't keep drinking. I would have a couple of drinks with some of my castmates. However, I had this anxiety into me that if I'm not careful and if I don't really control this, that I will keep drinking and make a fool of myself. And I was really genuinely worried I could lose this amazing opportunity, lose this girl, and spoil my life because of the silly situations I'd found myself in already. Alcohol was destroying my mental health, it was giving me severe anxiety, it was destroying my bank account, especially in London when I was a struggling actor. I was spending most of it on alcohol or rent. It was wrecking my physical health, it was destroying friendships and causing arguments, and it was just getting in the way of every part of my life. So while I was thinking about quitting alcohol, I had some initial worries along the lines of I wasn't going to fit in anymore. Nobody's going to want to invite me to any parties because why would we invite Sam? He doesn't drink, so he's going to be super boring. That was the sort of narrative I was creating in my head. And also drinking has always been a big part of the culture I've grown up in. If you've ever met a British person, you know they can probably drink quite a lot. Everyone around me loves a drink, but I thought, I'm in Japan now, I've got a fresh start, this is the best time to quit alcohol. Honestly, most of the reasons why I wanted to quit alcohol were because I was worried about what other people thought of me. But then I met Maddie, the love of my life, the woman that I ended up marrying, and honestly, she was the biggest reason I quit alcohol, because I really didn't want to make a fool of myself in front of her being drunk. So I was like, I'm not going to lose her. I'm gonna quit it. And yes, it's very romantic and everything, but it was not easy to begin with. I would get frequent cravings. I would see people drinking in film and TV shows I was watching, and that would make me want to drink. I would hang out with friends who were all drinking and see their beers, their vodkas and stuff like that, and be quite envious that I couldn't do that and I couldn't have that taste in my mouth. But there were two things in my favour here. I found it much easier to quit because I had a fresh start. All of the people that I met in Japan, I had never met in my life before. So I could reinvent myself and my personality. And now I was the Sam Ford who doesn't drink to all of these people, which is great. Number two was I developed an ethos for myself, which I knew would help me. And that ethos went something like, don't drink tonight, Sam, because if you drink tonight, you'll get completely drunk and you'll wake up having ruined everything and with anxiety for the rest of your life. It sounds really depressing and morbid, but trust me, it really, really helped. Now, the important part, how did it actually affect my life? Now, I'm going to spoil it for you right here. There were absolutely zero negatives for me giving up alcohol. This is just my personal experience. Everyone's different and everyone will have a different time with this. All aspects of my life genuinely improved. So I was like, I think I'm on the right track here. Firstly, my anxiety calmed down a huge amount. No more was I waking up on a Saturday or a Sunday morning with this anxiety that I'd done something wrong, or that I was going to get all these messages from friends like, you were a mess last night and stuff. I would wake up quite early in the morning, naturally, because I've had a long and good night's sleep, and the sun would be shining and I could go out for a run and make some pancakes, and life felt good again. The second thing that improved was that my friendships became better than ever. I was able to have actual deep conversations with friends, whereas when you're having chats with friends on nights out, often you'll just forget them, or you only really care about talking to each other because you know there's alcohol involved and that's addictive and that's exciting, drinking the alcohol. And I genuinely believe that most of the time, if you're drunk, the conversations that you're having, no matter how deep you think they are in the moment, they're not actually high quality conversations. Just my opinion. However, when I wasn't drinking, I could go for a coffee with a friend or go for a bike ride with a friend, and our conversations were so much better. I was so much more interested in them. The third thing is that life wasn't jaded for me anymore. In my last year of drinking, especially when I was living in London, I was generally unhappy with life. I would go do something that I used to absolutely adore, like I'd go watch a musical, and it wasn't fun at all. It didn't even bring me any joy. And I would notice that so much about life, that things wouldn't bring me joy unless I was drinking. And that's really problematic. I had that joy come back into my life. I was so happy. I could watch a TV show and feel happy. I would, be looking at some tech online. Even that would make me happy. I don't know, the weirdest things were bringing joy back into my life. I think we all want to be happy. And if happiness is flowing to you, you should chase that. The next thing was that I was able to save more money than I ever have in my entire life. Not only was I very blessed with a really nicely paying acting job, the company I was working for were paying all of my rent for me out there, so I was able to save all of this money because there was nothing to spend it on, and I wasn't spending it on alcohol anymore. And also, I could even treat myself from time to time. Maddie and I could go out for dinner, I could buy myself a new pair of shoes, things that I actually couldn't do while I was living in London. The next thing, which is a bit niche but I was super happy about, I could start singing in my falsetto again. If you drink and you find that you can't sing in your falsetto, especially if you're a guy, genuinely try giving up alcohol for like a month, see how you get on, because I didn't think it was the alcohol until I quit. And then I could sing in my falsetto. To have little things like that, especially as an actor and a musician, were really, really important to me. And one of the biggest things was that my thinking became clearer. I used to have this brain fog the days after drinking alcohol, and that brain fog could last for weeks, but it had suddenly disappeared. But I had so much more energy, I could think clearly, and I was making better progress towards my goals than I had in years, honestly. I mean, there are so many more benefits that I probably need another video to go into, and if you'd like to see that, then comment below. But it just was probably the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. If you don't know me, please know that I'm not being disingenuous right now. I mean every word of that. It was the best decision I made in my entire life. But aside from all of those benefits, my general personality had actually improved. Since 2019, I had become lazy at university and unmotivated, and my goals were unclear. I didn't have a North Star. Suddenly, the brain fog in my mind cleared a little bit more, and I started writing my goals down, and I started working towards them, and I just had this want and longing to improve every aspect of my life. I was like, right, I've given up the alcohol now, I've done one thing, what's next, what can I do next? It meant I could consistently improve in every area of my life, and to me, I think that's like, apart from God and family, that's the most important thing you could have in your life. However, I'm not anti-alcohol. If you are able to drink in a sensible and healthy way, then you should drink. If you can have one or two with friends and family, and it gives you a bit of social energy and it makes those conversations really special and memorable for you, go for it. I'm not anti-alcohol at all. For me, I needed to give up alcohol because it was actually destroying my life. But if it's not doing that to your life, you don't need to give up alcohol. By the way, one of my favorite hobbies is to make alcoholic cocktails for my friends and family when they come over to my apartment. I love working with alcohol and stuff, I just don't drink it. If you can relate to my story at all, and there's a part of you that kind of wants to give up alcohol, I think maybe you should try it and follow that, because it wouldn't be there. And honestly, if you don't try it, you'll never really know. So you don't need to quit it for 1,000 days like me. The 1,000 days was just how long I've been sober for now, but I've quit it permanently. If you want to quit alcohol, I'd say try it for a month. Don't try it for a week, because a week is too small. A lot of drinkers don't drink for an entire week. So try it for a month, see how you go. If you like it, keep going with it. Why not? You're happy, like, chase that. If you didn't like it, you don't have to keep going with it. It really is that simple and that easy. So if you ever think you might quit, or you have quit, I'd love to hear your story and your experiences below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, I know you're absolutely gonna love this video here, so click that one. And if you found this video valuable and you want to see more, then hit the subscribe button. It really does help me out. Thank you so much for watching this far, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.